How's it, mother lovers? Can a laser cutter actually earn its place in a real woodworking workshop? Or are they just really expensive machines that make keyrings? Because if that's all they do, I'm out. But if this thing can actually generally save me some time, improve accuracy, or get rid of jobs I absolutely hate doing, then maybe it deserves valuable bench space. So that's exactly what we're going to find out. Un poquito. I knew this was going to be fairly substantial. I wasn't expecting anything quite like this. No marketing, no fluff. Let's see if this thing actually earns its keep. It basically sent me everything I'll need to get started. But I know what you're thinking.
Does it come in black?
Too soon, Junior. I'm going to save that one for the workshop. Now you see the method of my madness. No campfire farts. Normally these things would be heading straight to the workshop. Unfortunately, my MX-5 still isn't playing ball, so some home HQ is going to have to do for now. I'll do whatever I can, whatever possibly I can here. Then once I've got lifted to the workshop with all the bits, we'll find out if this thing can actually earn its keep. They actually sent me near the full setup. The LX2, the riser, and the air purifier. Time to see what we actually got. First impressions, it's certainly packaged properly. It's so solidly built too. I'm trying to keep this quick because one day this will be your pleasure, Mr. Cotton. A little goodie bag, slate, leather, acrylic, card, basswood, and there was some white card kicking around somewhere too. I'll be honest, first impressions are good. Nothing feels cheap. Nothing turned up damaged either. And thankfully, there's not 100,000 pieces to put together. That's always a good start. Looking nice doesn't really earn bench space. That's the easy bit. The real question is, can it actually make life easier in the workshop? Let's be honest, none of us are reading that. I'm not going to bore you with every nut and bolt. If you buy one, you'll manage. What I'm interested in, what happens once it's switched on. One small annoyance is this air purifier isn't controlled by the machine, so it doesn't turn on and off with the machine.
So long, gay boy!
It's only taken 12 years. These are keys, there's 2 of them. Don't lose them. You can't start the machine without them. You must have heard the line, we need more power, baby. Just don't get confused by the back of that air supply asking for a power supply. It's actually powered by the machine, so you don't need a separate power supply. No, I'm not sorry. I'm going to keep that plastic film on that screen because those screens scratch just as soon as looking at them. Right, moment of truth. So far so good. Assembly was straightforward, nothing unexpected. Now comes the bit I usually dread. Software. Don't do anything more until you've got into the machine, into the software, and updated your firmware. It really is simple to do, and all the instructions are there. A child could do it because it doesn't matter how good the hardware is. If the software's a nightmare, you're already starting on a back foot. Just a quick note: there is now an exam you may choose to take. I personally hoped if I took it, it would open up some features like overriding some EU safety features. It didn't. I can't see any point in taking the exam, and you do not need to take it if you feel so. Another thing, not once has any laser I've had been a simple Wi-Fi setup. More often than not, I've just left it wired in because it's just too much of a pain to get it to work. This worked perfectly off the bat. I'm very surprised at that. I'm deliberately not turning this into a software tutorial. There are plenty of those already. What I'm interested in is, can I get from switching the machine on to actually making something without wanting to throw a laptop through the nearest window? And that's actually the important point. I haven't got weeks to learn a complicated machine, like a CNC for instance. I've got furniture to build. So if this is going to earn its bench space, it has to fit around the way I already work, not the other way around. I'm not going to show you how to calibrate all of it, as it's all very simple and much the same as I'm doing here. Grab your special paper from the material pack, magnet to keep it there, set height, start the process, follow the on-screen instructions, and all is good. Rinse and repeat, really. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit jittery, cheeks clenched when I was told to use paper to do this in a laser. I thought, this is a fire hazard if I've ever seen one. This was slightly thicker than normal paper, although I was told by LaserPecker themselves you can just use ordinary white paper to do this, and they weren't wrong. It doesn't start a fire. And now, back to the program. Right, no excuses now. Just to reiterate, just drag and drop your PNG or JPEG, resize it. If only everything in life was like that. If you want a more black engraved, select grayscale, speed and power, you play with that to suit yourself, suit the material you're using basically. And don't forget to set the laser to the thickness of the material. And that's exactly what it's doing. Very simple. And you do get 2 of these in the box, by the way. Bear in mind, this smoke tastes lovely. It's a kind of sweet flavour, MDF smoke. Jokes aside, this is with the doors open, and no, I'm not going to snitch. How? Because we know what snitches get. I don't know if you know Sawdust and Splinters, but she has a couple of great ideas. Some wall art, maple leaves, and some cracking kitty cat bit of art. Not something in my wheelhouse? I'll leave a link below. I'll be honest, watching one of these works is strangely hypnotic, and that camera is wicked. I've never seen a camera that good before on one of these lasers. So far, everything's doing exactly what you'd expect. It engraves, it seems accurate, the software hasn't annoyed me, which is already a pleasant surprise, but none of this answers the questions in the title. I already knew it could engrave, that's never been a question. The real test starts when it leaves the living room and walks into the workshop, because that's where it has to earn its keep. If this is where the story ended, it would just be another laser review. We're only just getting started. Now, this is where things get interesting. This is where every tool has to earn its keep. Space is limited. Every machine in here has a job. So the question is, can this join them? Nobody gets permanent bench space just because they're clever. I'm only getting into this because there's some valid points to be told. Outside of this, it honestly is a brilliant machine. Putting this together is as easy as pie. When the instructions tell you to position it a different way, do listen to them. Don't do it me. These bolts have Loctite on them. It is a brick. It makes you think you're cross-threading and feels like the bolts are going in at an angle, and fix it before it goes south.
Ah, Bisto.
Trust me.
Oh, hell yeah, brother, yeah!
This is the first with one of these bases, the first machine to not need turning on its face to remove the bottom, so no damage, which is nice. Never in my years has a 40-watt laser cut through 9mm MDF in one pass. That's a big deal for me. That's the door I want to open, because that opens a world of possibilities. Well, that is interesting. 9mm MRMDF. I wonder if it can cut 20mm. I wonder if it can cut 90mm birch ply. Tell you what though, wait and see what I have in store for the new LaserPecker logo. The clue is in the name. So if you like the cut of my jib, please like and subscribe. Share if you're really feeling kinky, and we'll see each other again.